Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming along to our webinar today. My name is Fiona Borthwick. I'm Head of Sales and Account Management here at OpenFifth, and I'll be delivering the webinar just now, which is all about the Koha staff interface overview. So it's part of our part of our essential series. It's back to basics. It's just a very quick run through of what you see in the Koha staff interface. Now, if you are an existing Koha user, what I'm going to be talking about today will be things that you already know. But if you are new to Koha, you just joined us to have a little bit of an explore around, then hopefully you'll take something away from this in the next 20 minutes or so. But let's kick things off by just letting you know that Koha has always been a web-based library management system. It was first established in 1999 in New Zealand, and it was developed by a library service for libraries. So it's always been web-based. It's unlike other systems, started out as client-server technology and have subsequently become web-based. So as a result of that, it's very familiar, it's very intuitive, and it's very easy to use. So let's have a look. What you're seeing in front of you is what anybody sees when they first access Koha through the web browser. So in order to access it, all you do need is a web browser, and you have got your own URL, which if you're one of our OpenFifth customers or you're going to be joining us, it will be an OpenFifth domain, or you may choose to have your own URL, and we'll talk to you about that as part of the implementation. In order to be able to access the staff interface, you do need to log in, and this is what the login screen looks like. So you log in with a username and a password, and Koha can be set to require strong passwords, which means that you have a mixture of uppercase, lowercase letters, special characters, and you can set the minimum length on that password as well. You also specify what library service you're working with. So if you are a multiple branch library service, then it will default to your own library that's associated with your login. But should you be working in a different location on that particular day that you're logging in, you can assign the relevant library at the point of login. And it is important that you do that so that all the transactions are recorded from the correct workstation library. You can also optionally configure circulation desks as well. And if you're working with cash registers, you can set up which cash register is at your branch at the time as well. So this is what I get when I come to log in. When I click the login button, as you'll see here, I am asked for a two-factor authentication code. This is a default with Koha, but you set it up on individual logins. So I can show you that in a little bit, but I'll just put in my code here. So I've just grabbed my authenticator and popped my authenticator code in, and now I am logged into Koha, and you can have a look and see what we see. Now, just to recap, the information on the right-hand side here comes over from my login screen. So this is me as my logged in user. I'm at the main library, and I'm using the cash register of till 1. I can change these at any time if I want. So if I had logged in and thought, oh, I'm at a different library today, I can just click on there and select the relevant library from that list as well. So I'm at the main library and I'm logged in as this user. Now, what I'm seeing on this page here in terms of the modules I can access are determined by the permissions that's associated with my login. So if I have a look at my account and come into this more area here, have a look at the set permissions, you'll see that I have access to all the librarian functions. So I've got super librarian permissions, which basically means I have access to all areas within the Koha staff interface. Now I can set permissions for staff, and I can do them at group level or individual levels. So for example, we have a group here for acquisition management. If I click on show details, you can see there are quite a lot of individual permissions within the acquisitions management. So as an administrator setting up a new login for users, I can choose to give them access to all areas of acquisitions, or perhaps I'm only allowing them to do things like receive items, but not to work with funds. So I can, make those selections individually there. Now, that will also determine what I can see from this screen. So for just now, you can see that I can see everything: acquisitions, Koha administration, circulation, cataloguing, etc. But let's have a look at a different user. So I'm going to log out of this user and I'm going to log in as somebody different. So let me just have a look at a different user. So if I just look at an account for David, and just put his details in, and I'm going to just log in there. Now, the first thing you may have noticed is I wasn't prompted for a two-factor authentication code, and that's because that's not set up in David's record, however it was on mine. And the second thing that you may notice is that we're seeing a vastly reduced page here. So we do have Koha administration, but when I click on it, I've only got one option. And we don't have acquisitions, for example. We also don't have cataloguing. So the other thing to note is if you don't have access to them on this home page here, you also don't have access to them in the More menu, which is another way of accessing the different modules. Another third thing to notice is that David belongs to a different library. So when I added the details to the login screen, I just left it as my library and it automatically defaulted to a different library for him. So I'm just going to log out. I'm going to log back in as myself. And this time I will be asked for my authenticator code again. So I'll just grab that. And okay, so I'll just continue with the remainder of this webinar logged in as myself. So this is our home screen. Now, on some systems, we don't have anything at the moment, but on some systems, you do have a panel on the left-hand side, which is the news panel, and that can be used for any purpose. That can be used for things like just, advertising some tasks that the staff need to carry out on a regular basis. It might be to put some sort of staff announcements on, or as in the case with us, there's nothing there. I just thought I'd draw that to your attention because sometimes you do see things on the left-hand side. Underneath your modular buttons, you've got this dashboard area, which is dynamically generated based on some activity that happens within Koha. So for example, if one of your users creates a purchase suggestion request on the OPAC, it would come through into your dashboard area, and then you can carry out the relevant actions from here. So if I wanted to edit this top one, for example, let's just say I wanted to mark this one as accepted. So I'll just come down there. And I can then say, I'll choose a status for this one, and I've accepted that. The point of carrying that task out, the user would then get a notice sent to them automatically, and they would see that update within their patron account in the OPAC as well. And then when I come back to my homepage, you can see that the number of purchase suggestions to be actioned is actually decreased by 1. Similarly, if you allow users to make changes to their account, then you get details coming through onto your dashboard here. When you come in to have a look, you've then got the different people and you can approve or deny the changes there, and that will update in real time as well. What we also have on our homepage is the ability to utilise the main body of the page in any way that you wish. So again, some of our customers have shortcuts to reports in here. Some of them have sort of news items, announcements. Some people don't use it at all. And it can be really useful. For example, if you want members of staff in branches to be able to run a report at the end of a day, but you don't want them to have to go into the reporting area, locate the report, then run it. They just want to be able to do a quick link to a report in here. Then you can sort of create your links and put them on this home page. And some of the reports can just run and produce results, and others may ask you to put in some criteria in here too. Okay, what we also see at the top is, as I mentioned before, the ability to navigate to different modules from the black bar at the top. You also have underneath there what we call in OpenFIS an Omnibox, which is a box that gives you access to the main functions within the system. So quick, easy access. So from the home page, the first thing it's asking me to do is check out. So because it's want me to check something out, it's asking me for the patron details first of all. I can toggle here. So if I wanted to search the catalogue, for example, I click the search catalogue option and it changes at the left-hand side. So whatever's displaying at the left-hand side is the action that Koha is expecting, and then you get your help text accordingly in there. So let's change again. Let's click on search patrons. You can see there, but search patrons appearing on the left, and it's asking us to enter the patron card number or partial name. Where you see these little toggles here as well, these allow you to filter your search. So these are the search filters for users. So if I was just looking for any user that had a category of student, for example, I can narrow my search and then execute it and I get my details there. Likewise, the search catalogue, I've got the different options there to select a different index, etc. We also have available on every page access to the context sensitive help file. So this is a link on the right hand side, your screen. When you click on that help, it will open up the help page in the area that you're working with. So it's giving me automatically a patron search page because that's the page that I was on. Let's just confirm that. Let's go to the circulation page, for example. Let's click on holds queue, then click on help, and it'll take me to the holds queue page. And each page in the online help has its own URL as well. So if you wanted to share these with colleagues or put links in literature, etc., then you can direct them to exactly where you need to go as well. Okay. Before I go any further, I just want to also highlight to you that we're using our demo system and we haven't really done anything in the ways of customizing how it displays, but some of our libraries have. So for example, some libraries change the background colour here. Some libraries put images on their homepage, and you can do quite a lot. And a lot of that is done through the tools area as well, where we've got this HTML customizations. And this is where you can add things like to that main user block area and such like. Just to give you a quick example, I'm just going to toggle into this one. And you can see here that this login screen looks a little bit different. Immediately, you can see that we've got a blue background, but maybe 2/3 of the way down, it changes into this sort of pink and white sort of design. And at the top left-hand corner, you can see that it says testing server. So this is one of our customers that has a test Koha site, and they have styled it slightly differently so that staff are very aware of which site they're working on. Is it the test or is it the production? And if I just choose a library and log into this, again, you can see we've got testing server up at the top left, and we've got a blue background as opposed to the one in our demo system, which is a sort of white greyish background. So it's immediately obvious as a member of staff, I could come in here and go, oh, it's blue. That's not right. And go out and make sure that I was on the right one. Just to also point out on this particular site, this is one of our customers that makes use of the news area on the left-hand side, and you can also see that their green box at the top is wider and the text is quite a bit bigger than what we've got on our demo system as well. So that's just a styling thing, and you're in control of doing that, or we can do it for you if you prefer. So I just wanted to quickly show you that. Let me show you now. I'm just going to search again. I'm going to go into my patron record. And I mentioned earlier about permissions. When you're out looking at a user record, you can also see, if you utilize photos, you can see it above the photo. If not, you can just see it at the top here beside the name, that they've got staff permissions. So you can see here, if I hover over this sort of shield, it says it's a staff patron, and then the lightning bolt tells me it's a super librarian. So it's just a quick way into seeing what the permissions are for there as well. So I just want to show you a couple of things here. First of all, my list of checkouts. You can see this is a good way of sort of displaying lots of information in one place. So we can see here that we've got hyperlinks throughout. So in this case, we've got a hyperlink to the title, we've got a hyperlink to the item record. So let's just show that. We can click obviously directly on that hyperlink, but the beauty of it being a browser-based system is that we can have as many tabs open as we want. So right clicking on that, opening a new tab, takes me to the catalogue record. From here, again, I've got a link back to the user. I've also got hyperlinks throughout here, so I could click on the author and sort of get a search there, or on the subject headings and so on. So there is hyperlinks throughout, and I can have as many tabs open as I want. And this can be quite useful if you're working in a library and perhaps you're on an inquiry desk, a circulation desk, but somebody comes over to ask you something and you're in the middle of cataloguing an item in a quiet period. So instead of having to quickly save that catalogue record, you can just open up a new tab and search the catalogue or check the items out to them and so on without losing any of your work. The other thing I just wanted to show you, again, going back to my patron record, is just to show you the consistency in display. So here we can see that we've got this sort of tabular form here. So you've got tabs along the top, and then you've got the different columns. So this is in a patron record. We have a look at the item record, it's the same. So we've got multiple columns, and we have got tabs along the top. Now with the columns, you can obviously sort as well. So I wanted them to be sorted in title order. I can just change the little arrows there. And again, in the catalogue records, they're all accessible as well. You've got the ability as well to search within these tables. So if you've got a long list of items, then you can search and find what you're looking for. And you've also got the option to sort of do a little bit of configuration around what you see here. So we've got this columns toggle here. And if I click on that, it shows you the different options that are available. Now, let's just have a look. This copy number 1, how useful is that? It just says copy number 1. So let's just say we wanted to change that. So what I could do is I could just, that's got a tick at the moment, I could untick that and it removes that copy for me. If you've got admin permissions, you've got an extra feature here, which is to configure, and this would allow you to configure the table across the board. So you've got the option to do it on an ad hoc basis or across the board there. The other thing about the consistency of display that I wanted to highlight to you is over on the left-hand side, you've got menu options appearing. And again, you'll see the same if I just come back out of the table settings, go back to my catalogue record, you've got the menu options appearing on the left-hand side as well. Now again, being consistent, we do have breadcrumb trails, so it always tells you where you are. So here we're in the details display of a catalogue record. Back to the user, if we go up to the top, the breadcrumb trail, we're within the patrons area. We're looking at the details of a patron record. So you can always navigate your way back this way as well. Okay, let me come back to the home. What you also see once you've been in a user record, once you're back at the home screen, is you do have the last patron a hyperlink at the right-hand side as well. So if you want a quick access route back into that last patron, you can do that quite easily. You don't have to look them up again. And just to also show you different ways in which you can search in the staff interface. So you've got, as we mentioned before, the ability to do a quick search from this screen, the bar at the top. You can, if you prefer, do an advanced search, which allows you to filter your results before executing your search. So if we have a look at that, this allows us to sort of build things up. So we could search for an author plus a title, whatever we wanted, or we might want to limit by a particular item type, or we might want to limit by publication year, and so on. So we can do all of those filters before we start. But let's assume that we just want to do a standard search in the catalogue. So let's just put in a search term. Because I haven't filtered, I get all the search results appearing here with the ability to filter on the left-hand side if I wanted to drill it down a little bit more. However, what I can also do at this point is I can search within the results. So if I just wanted to look at something that's like a complete guide, I can filter within there, and it's reduced that to 10 results for me. I can also choose my index when I'm doing that filter within the search, and I can, if I wanted to as well, save this particular search as a filter, and it would appear on the left-hand side in the facets area for me to use again in the future. Equally, you've got the ability to edit your search, and that takes you to the advanced search screen for you to sort of make some changes there. The third type of search that you have available is the item search, and that's available from the home screen, or again from the more menu, or sorry, from the search menu at the top, the ability here. And this allows you to search item specific information rather than title information, rather than the bibliographic record. So this is a good way if you wanted to really drill down and get a list of particular items. So let's say I wanted to have a look at things that had been marked as missing in the catalogue, then that's obviously done at item level. So I can come in here and get all my results. And these are the item records. And from here, I can obviously do a little bit of work with them if I wanted to send them over to the batch operations, for example. So, you know, if I just tick these on, then I've got the ability to send them over to batch item modification or batch item deletion. Okay, so that in a nutshell is really all I wanted to show you today. It was just a quick overview of what you can expect to see when using the Koha staff interface, how easy it is to use and navigate, and how the display of it is very consistent throughout all the different screens and very familiar to your users.